I'll increase it.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing? Great. Hope we all had at least enough pizza and enough cookies. We don't fall asleep. Where's Josh? Okay, awesome. All right, so thank you everyone for showing up. There's a popular saying, 80% of success is, showing up. You guys don't know the saying. Okay, yeah, so thank you very much for showing up. And I believe, God willing, at the time we spend here will indeed be time well spent, and hopefully some other people coming in can join us. So just very quickly, I would like us to start with an exercise. A very quick exercise. I believe perhaps everyone we know one another, but the exercise we're going to do here is going to involve you to ask the person on you're going to approach 3 people, and you ask them two quick questions. So you ask them first of all what school they are associated with, if they're in school, and then you ask them what they like. And the response to that second question should start with the first letter of the person's first name. Does that make sense? Let me give you a very good example. So for example, for me, right? If someone were to approach me and ask me those 2 questions, my response would be University of Windsor. And then the second one would be, I like fries. So F for fries, F for Franklin. Does that make sense? Yeah? Does that make sense? Yes? Yes. Okay, so that would be the exercise. Does that mean that you don't understand? What do you mean? So you're going to approach 3 people, and you ask them 2 questions. The 2 questions, right? So the first one would be what school they're associated with if they're in school. And the second one would be the one thing that they like. And the response to that question to start with the first letter of their first name. For example, the example I gave, I would say I am an alumnus of University of Windsor. And then I will also say I like fries. Does that make sense, everybody? Yes? Yes? Okay, can we just quickly, I'll give some time for that. Right. Hey, let me give them. Okay. Hey, Achema and Rachel, you guys might come forward later. Just 2 first spots here. Yeah?
What's a skip mean,
And this is for you, and this is for you. Okay. Everyone done? Everyone done? Okay. Anyone wants to share something interesting they learned about the other person that they did not know before? By the way, did everyone actually ask 3 people? Or you asked just 1? Okay. Does anyone want to share something interesting they just learned about the other person? Anyone? Oh, you can ask them though. Joshua, do you want to share one thing you learned?
She asked me, I didn't get to ask you.
Oh, yeah, why didn't you ask? Okay, awesome. I'm just going to get started. All right, so just very quickly, I would move on to just give a very quick introduction. So that's me, Franklin SNY is my name, and I'm an alumnus of University of Windsor. So I came into Canada on the 6th of September 2010. It was one of those memorable days for me, one of those days I probably will not forget. And basically I was enrolled in computer science with specialization in software engineering. So from the name of the program, you can actually tell it wasn't an easy one. But I just thank God for everything. It was really very challenging and very tough. That I remember maybe at one point or 2, I actually cried because things were really very, very brutal. But I'm really glad that life is full of downs and ups. So I had good times too, especially socially and academically, and I did quite well at school. So I was very active on campus as well as off campus. So on campus, I was part of a program called Connecting for Success, where I basically served as a mentor to students. And what I did basically was to work with students and help them to get very clear about their goals, and also work with them throughout the academic year to come up with strategies and plans to help them achieve those goals. And I did that for about 3.5 years of the 5 years I was at school. And I was also active off campus, specifically at the church I attended at that time. So on the 16th of June 2015, that was me there, the cool kid on the gown. I graduated from the university, and shortly after I started off a career journey as a software developer at IBM Canada here in Markham. And I always love to see students excel and be part of their success, and that's why I embarked on a book project after graduation. Most of you may have seen the book. So it was just a good way for me to give back and to help students to succeed, and that's also part of why I'm involved in this program. And that's basically the end of that part of my story, and he lived happily ever after. That's how come you get to see him here with you today. Whoa! So I didn't share that story with you to impress you, but to impress upon you that you can achieve virtually whatever it is that you set your heart and your mind to do, irrespective of your skin color, your background, your nationality, or whatever some other people may have labeled a limitation to you. Because truly, truly, anything is possible to those who believe. Anything is possible to those who believe. And so I just wanted to say that with me. I believe anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
And just look at your neighbors on the left and the right. Tell them anything is possible if you believe.
Anything is possible.
Awesome. Okay, so let's move on. So just really very quickly, here's the outline of my talk. So first of all, we're going to be looking at goal setting. So goal setting, I believe, is perhaps one of the most invaluable and essential skills you can ever develop to support your success in life, at school, or even afterwards. And then I'll talk about balance. So this idea of having to juggle the different areas of your life. And then I'll conclude, and then we'll do something really very fun. So please don't go out at the end. All right. So another exercise. So just as you are right now, I think it's, so 2, 2, 3. So you can just have a group of 3 or 4. Timmy, do you mind going to where Melody and Idous are sitting? What? Oh, okay, no, you can join them there. So it's 3. Awesome. So if you can just, in your group, your group where you are right now, each person should just take turns to tell your members what's one goal you're currently working on. A goal you're working on, or a goal you have in mind to pursue, or you're pursuing. So you can just take turns and share amongst yourselves. Does that make sense? Okay, awesome. I'll give you guys some time for that.
Let me speak. My goal is, I don't know if it's supposed to be long. It's supposed to be short term or long term.
Anyone?
Long term goal is actually short term
Oh, let me just leave it here.
Everyone done?
No.
No, you guys just started. Just one. Just one.
So what grades are you guys going to? Just to make it grade 9, 12, 10, sophomore.
Okay, everyone's done, right? Okay. So does everyone want to share what goal they have in mind or they're pursuing? I just need about one or 2 people to share with us. Anyone? Sure.
So, short-term goal of mine, probably just do well my first year of university.
Do well.
As in, academically achieve the standards I set for myself.
Okay.
So.
Okay, awesome, that's good. I forgot my candy. I'll pass it on to you. Anyone else? One more person who wants to share their goal? You have in mind? Okay, Damilala.
My goal is to finish high school successfully and win awards.
And do what?
And win awards.
Wow, that's awesome. How many awards do you want to win? 3. Huh? Millions. Wow, that's great. I'll help you to carry them, okay? Okay, all right, so we'll just move on very quickly. So I'm sure you all know what goals are, and so I'm not going to be beating it to death trying to define goals. But one thing I just want to mention is that goals, well, like I mentioned earlier, like goal setting perhaps is going to be one of the most essential skills you can ever develop for yourself. Because if you come to think about it, the very successful people out there, they actually set very big goals for themselves. And they set those big goals and they're able to actually make those goals happen. And that's part of the reason we hear about them today. That's part of the reason you talk about them, you talk about the Bill Gates, you talk about the Mike Zuckerberg, and so many other people, because they set big goals for themselves and so they're able to achieve those goals. And so I just want to give some reasons why goal setting is very important, why you really want to have goals for yourself. So one reason is that goals give you drive and motivation in life. So there's a quote there, it says, always have goals that you're currently working on. This is a great way to stay focused and motivated. In other words, if you want to stay focused in life, if you want to be motivated, if you want to be driven, you really need to have goals, a direction as to where you want to go. You can actually see goals to be like cars. When you put fuel into them, they are then able to drive you through the road of life. So that's one good reason why setting goals is very, very important. So that's number one. Goals give you drive and motivation. So the second reason is that goals give you a target to hit. How many of you here have played archery tag before? The archery tag. Okay, awesome. Not too many people. So I remember the last time I went to play archery tag with some of my colleagues at work, I was like the key player there. I mean, I knew it so bad that everyone just wanted to be on my team. I was really very, very good at it. But it's a very, very good lesson to learn from the archery tag. So this is the archery target. So if you notice how this, you consider this to be like the bullseye, right? So no, irrespective of how you look at this, well, actually it could be a plus or an X. So the areas around here, that's where you need to hit to make the most points, right? That's actually where you have the 10. And so in the archery tag, this is the bullseye. This is where you need to hit to make the most points. The same thing that happens too in the archery tag of life. This is basically what you would consider to be your goal. So it shows you what you want to focus on. It shows you what you want to target and to hit. Because in targeting and hitting that, you're going to gain the most, fulfillment. And so that's one very good reason goal setting is really very, very key. And in fact, not only do goals give you a target to hit, they also help define the basis for, success. Because when you have goals, you hit them, you can say, oh, wow, I succeeded at doing whatever it is. For example, like I told you guys that I nailed it very well on my last archery tag. So let's say we were supposed to play a game where you had 3 arrows. And obviously, in order for you to make the most score, you have to make all the arrows hit the 10s, right? And so say I made it 10, 10, 10 in the middle. Wow, if nobody else hits the trees like me, wow, I'll probably just be the winner, right? And so that's like success for me. So I was the one who won the game. And so that's another thing goals actually do for you. And so it's very, very clear to see that it's almost impossible for you to hit a target you don't have. And you most likely hit what you focus on. So goals give you the targets to focus on. Does that make sense so far, everyone? Can you say yes if it makes sense?
Yes.
Awesome. So it's very, very hard for me to talk about goal setting and not make reference to this study. So this was a study that was done in 1979 on students at Harvard University. So of the people who were involved in that study, 84% of them didn't have any definite goals. 84%, a very, very big number, so 84% of them. So we can call them group A. And so 13% of people in that study, they had goals, but they did not write down their goals. 13% of them, so we can call them group B. So they had goals in their head, basically they were just wishfully thinking, but they did not write down their goals. So only 3% of people in that study wrote down their goals. And so they also had plans to follow up on their goals. And so 10 years later, the same group of people were interviewed, and it was noted that the group B, so the people who had goals but didn't write them down, they were earning 2 times more than the 84% of people who did not have goal at all, right? So pardon, for those who don't like linear algebra, pardon me with all the x and the 2x. This will be the last place you see it, okay? And so in the study again, group C, so the people who had goals, so the 3% of people who had goals and wrote down their goals, supporting them with plans, they were making 10 times more than the remaining 97% of people. And in fact, a similar study was done in 1958 at Yale University, and we had the same result as well. Which again just goes down to say that goal setting is really very, very important. It's not just enough for you to have goals, but you need to actually write down your goals. And that's part of why I gave you guys the handouts there, an exercise I'm hoping you'll also do at some point. All right, so hopefully I've been able to convince most of you, if not all of you, of the importance of setting goals. And so let's just see some good ways to get that done. All right, so ideally you have 2 kinds of goals. Josh was asking me long-term or short-term, so I think he has an idea. So basically, like I mentioned at the beginning, during my intro, I was kind of involved in a mentorship program. And so on my first meetings with my mentees, I would have them put a list of all the goals that they want to accomplish. And once we've had those written down, we'll then sort the goals into 2 categories. So the long-term and then the short-term. So they basically mean what you would think. So the long-term goals, they usually span a relatively lengthy period of time. It could be a period of a semester, a period of an academic year, or a period of a program year. And then the short-term goals are basically smaller bits of the long-term goal. You will just chunk them down so it's easy for you to manage and to keep track of progress. And after we're done categorizing the goals into the 2, we will then try to make the goals really very effective and apply what is called the SMART technique. And the SMART is actually an acronym, and this is what it stands for. So the S there means specific. We just basically denotes that your goal be very, very clear and to the point, right? And the M is measurable, which means the goal should be easy to keep. You should be able to keep track of the progress towards the actualization of that goal. And a very good way to do that is to make your goal quantifiable by assigning a number to it. And I'll show you guys examples, so don't worry too much. And the A there is just very simple. It asks the question, is this goal really possible? Can you make it happen? And the R there is realistic, which basically says, given the conditions you have in hand and the time period, are you able to make this goal happen? And last but not the least is timeout, T, which says your goal should have a deadline. So we'll move on to see some examples of this, but let me see. Is everyone following me so far? Yeah. Yes? Awesome. Timmy? Never mind. Okay, let's see some examples.
The small, I learned it in school.
Oh, that's good. Okay, we're going to see some more examples, so it's really very, very clear to you, okay? Awesome. So let's see an example in the area of academics. So the long-term goal here says, I maintain a GPA of 85% this academic year. And the short-term goal says, I maintain a grade average of 86% on all my courses. By the end of the semester, I plan to score at least 88% on my 2 midterm tests and 87 on my final exam. Oh, this is a very big goal, right? Yeah.
That doesn't sound like short term.
Big goal.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just, also the long term is academic, and then the short term is semester. So you can actually break it down further if you want. But it's just to clarify the point. So let's look at these goals through the lens of the SMART and see whether they actually meet the criteria. So the S, specific. Are these goals specific? Well, yes, because the student did not just say, I'm going to ace it this semester, I'm going to nail it, I'm going to do this and do that. That's really very vague because Joshua's definition of nailing and acing may be different than Idowu's or Chiroma's, right? So that way it's not really very clear. But the students here made it very clear, 85% for the year, and for the semester, 86. So it's really very clear. So that's why I would say it's specific. So I'll give it a check mark on the S. And we'll move on to the M. And this goes measurable. Well, yes, because in short, there are numbers assigned to the goals. So for the long-term goal, it's 85%, and for the short-term goal, it's 86. So it's very easy for the students to keep track of the progress they're making towards the accomplishment of the goals. So I'll give that a check mark on the M. How about the A, achievable? Okay, obviously, I'm sure you guys may have come across students who have made 85 and even 90 or maybe close to 100. So I'm sure Emmanuel knows people like that at his York University. So, so definitely these are not high up there goals. So if people have done it before, so when it says a goal being achievable, a very good indication or a very good way to detect that will be just look around you and to see if there are people who have done it before. And if people have done it before, then definitely you can do it because if they can do it, you can do it. And even if they've not done it before, no one has done it before, it could just mean you're most likely going to be a trailblazer, right? So this one for sure is achievable. So I give that a check mark on the A. And for the R, realistic. So one assumption I made here is that these goals were set right at the beginning of the academic year. So the student has the entire year ahead of them. They can do whatever it is they need to do to make the goal happen. They can read as much as they can or they need to. They can pray as much as they need to. But definitely they have their entire academic year to make it happen. And hopefully with the right advice, they should be able to make this happen. So I'll give that a check mark on the R. And then the T, time bound. Do these goals have deadline? Well, yes, because for the long-term goal, by the end of the academic year, we should be able to tell whether or not the person has made it happen. And then by the end of for the short-term goal, by the end of the semester, we should be able to tell whether the goal has been accomplished. So that's also a check mark on the T. So with that, we can say that these are SMART goals. Are you all following me so far? Yeah? Okay, so the next one, I'm going to need your help with that, okay? So this is going to be in the area of health and fitness. So the long-term goal here says, I lose 10 pounds by the end of the winter. So let's say end of winter is the end of March or April, because these days winter is very, very unpredictable. So let's just say it's one of those periods, right? And so he said, I work out 4 times a week to achieve this. I can imagine this is some guy who wants to maybe like get ripped and get the summer body before the summer ends. So if you can meet someone like Fred Emmanuel to show them how to do it. You can meet a personal trainer and show them that I'm still following you. Yeah, okay, so that's the short-term goal. And then the long-term goal says, I lose 2 pounds by the end of each month. Yeah? So let's see SMART. And I'll need you guys' help on that. So let's look at the S. Are these goals specific? What do you guys think?
Yes.
Yeah? Who said yeah? If you say specific, why do you say that? Or if they are specific, why do you think?
Because he mentioned what exactly he wants and how much he wants, like how much weight he wants to lose and what he wants to lose, so that it's very specific.
Yeah, so the person wasn't like, I want to get ripped, I want to get lean, slim, thin, and all of those. Yeah? Okay. So we'll give that the check mark on the S. How about the M? Are these goals measurable? Melody, is everything okay? I see the look on your face, they're like, what's this? Are you okay? Yeah? Awesome. How about the M?
Yes.
Yes? Are these goals measurable? Wait, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I was saying yeah, because they're given an amount of weight that the person wants to lose, so they're measurable.
Okay, awesome. Measurable. So it says that 10 pounds for the long term and then 2 pounds for the short term, right? Okay, so we'll say that those are measurable. So how about the A, achievable? What do you guys think? I'm sure you know people who may have lost perhaps more than 10 pounds in maybe 1 month or 2. But this one is 10 pounds in about, say, like 5 months period. So definitely we can say these are achievable goals. So I'll give that a check mark on the A. How about the R? Oh, by the way, an assumption I'll make for the R is that, so if you notice the numbers 10 and 2. So the assumption is that the time period between when the goal was set and the end of the winter is at least a 5-month gap. That's why they made the assumption 10 and 2. So if you divide 10 by 5, you get 2. That's why they want to try 2 by the end of each month. Across a 5-month period, that will give you more than 10. So what do you guys think? Realistic?
It's not realistic.
It's
So realistic.
I kind of feel like it's subjective because the person might want to do 4 times a week, but it's unrealistic that everybody, when your schedule is full, you will find 4 times a week to go to the.
Oh, this is just an assumption though. So let's say they have all the time in the world.
Okay, so it is realistic.
Yeah.
Four times, like, you're definitely gonna lose more than 10 pounds.
Hmm?
If you're doing 4 times a week, you're
So
definitely
you probably won't achieve
Oh,
it. Really good.
no.
But during the Christmas
Yeah. You might get it back. That's true.
And as long as they lose it before Christmas, as long as they lose it before Christmas, they have to create another goal, another plan to make it happen.
like if you're committed to like stick to it,
Yeah.
4 times a week, like you can definitely lose over 10 pounds.
I know, eh? So this is 10 pounds is even too small.
It's realistic.
Yeah. Okay.
So it is realistic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So now we'll get out a check mark. Is it too hot here?
Oh, okay, no, sure. It should be on, but just
Okay. So we'll get out a check mark on the R. How about the T? Time bound. Do these goals have deadline?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it says every month.
Mm-hmm. So that's for the short term, right? How about the long term?
Winter.
End of the winter, right? Whether that's end of April or end of May, depending on. Okay, awesome. So so that's pretty much an example. So I guess my encouragement would be for you guys to at least have one goal, have at least one goal in the different areas of your life. So that way you're kind of achieving the all-round success. You don't want to be very, very good in one area and then lacking behind in one other area because you missed it out. So I guess that would be my tip there. Okay, so let's moving on. So we looked at SMART, right? And we recognize that it's an acronym. Do you guys remember what those letters mean? So let me test you guys. What does the S stand for? Huh? What does the S stand for? How about the M?
Measure.
Measure.
And the A?
Achievable.
And the R?
Realistic.
And T?
Time bound.
Awesome. Can you give yourselves a round of applause? Yeah, so that's specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time bound. Okay, so a very quick declaration. A very quick declaration that I would like us to say. So you can just say this after me. That I'm a goal setter and a goal getter. I'm a goal setter. And just shake your neighbor on the hand, on the left and the right, and just remind them.
I'm a goal setter. Goal setter.
Awesome. Okay, so if you don't have this handout, anyone doesn't have? Oh, yeah, I still have some pens. So I just want to encourage you to, just take some time to fill it up. Maybe not here, but after you leave here. So just the first column here just outlines the different areas of life that would normally be, let's say, considered major, especially for students and perhaps everyone else. And the next column is just basically what do you want that area of your life to be like. So if you want to, for example, improve your academic work, so what do you want that area to be like, right? Using the goal setting that we just talked about. So you can just write it down here. And then the next column is the why. So our why is basically the driving force behind every single thing we do. So if you have a big enough why, you'll be able to do just about any single thing, right? And so your why will be first, and then your how will be next. So the how is basically, how do you want to, so basically what's commitment and what actions do you want to take to make your goal happen? So I just want to encourage you to at least spend some time to do it. Not now, but maybe when you leave from here. How many people are going to do it? Okay, hopefully everyone. All right. But is everyone following me so far? Yeah? Awesome. Okay, so we'll just move on to balance. And I would admit that trying to gain this whole life balance can be very difficult sometimes, or most times, can be difficult, let me put it that way. Because normally you have like different areas of your life that you want to allot your time to. And Dr. Judy will be talking on time management today to help in that regard. But ideally you would have, you probably have more areas in life, but I just decided to stick to these 6 to make it very, very, very simple. So you normally have like the diet, you have the academics, you have the mental and spiritual, the health and fitness, the sleep and the workout and everything, finance and the extracurricular, and it's really very key that you actually spend some time to focus on each and every single one of them, because failure in one area can actually affect you in other areas as well. And success in one area can become visible area. That's why it's very good to have a good picture of each and every single area in there. So one thing I just want to mention, especially considering balance, that at least one good way to help get that whole round a balanced life would just be to spend some time to prioritize and to plan in the different areas of your life that you want to improve upon. And I've heard different people say different kinds of things concerning balance. They say that balance would mean for you to spend equal amount of time to the different areas of your life, and I don't quite agree with that. And I'll just give you a very good indication or illustration rather. So if you remember on the previous slide, I identified the 6 areas, right? So going by this term, the definition, it would mean you have to spend 24 divided by 6, 4 hours in all the areas of your life. So you have to spend, it will mean you have to spend 4 hours with sleep, so health and fitness, with sleeping and with exercising. 4 hours done over a long period of time on sleep can be kind of risky or hazardous to one's health, as long as I know. And also it would now mean that you spend 4 hours on academics, right? So maybe you're full-time in school. It means you have to spend 4 hours attending lectures, 4 hours studying and preparing. Wow, 4 hours is just too small. And that's why I don't quite agree with this. But what I just know for sure is that it requires you to spend appropriate. So notice the difference, equal versus appropriate. So equal versus appropriate. I know for sure it means you spending appropriate amount of time on the different areas of your life based on your priorities and your goals. So it's just something I just want to mention there. And I'm a very, very systematic person, so I like steps. So I just have some steps that really helped me a lot, especially at school, and I'll just share it with you here. So these are just 4 steps that I believe so strongly can help you achieve that whole life balance, if that's what you would want. So obviously the first thing would be for you to identify the major areas of your life that you want to improve. Is it in the area of academic? Is it in the mental and spiritual? Whatnot. So you just basically want to identify what you don't want about it and what you want to improve. Because they say that your problem identified is half solved, right? So you want to identify that first area. And so the next thing would be for you to have a goal or a vision for that area. So what exactly do you want it to look like? It's not enough for you to just say, I don't want this, but what do you now want, right? So identify what you want that area to look like. And then you would then create a plan and a strategy to make you achieve, to help you to achieve what you want. And then the fourth would be for you to keep track of progress. This is really very, very important. I noticed that people just set goals, but they don't even remember what the goals they have set. Maybe they wrote it down somewhere, but then they just trash the paper, so they forget about it, and that's why it becomes easy for them to not do the things that they used to do to help them achieve the results they used to have before. So this fourth point is really very key, to keep track of your progress. And this one statement, if there's anything you're going to leave here, I'm hoping this is going to be one of them. So it says whatever you track improves, and whatever you don't track remains stagnant. So it improves, meaning it's going to get better because you're always watching it, and you're always doing the things that the commitment you made to help you get there. So I'm hoping this is going to be one statement. If there's anything you're going to leave away from here, I'm hoping this is going to be one of them. And then let me ask again, is everyone following me so far? Yeah? Awesome. So we are almost nearing the end. So just as a way to recap, so first of all, we looked at the goal setting, we looked at the importance of setting goals, and then we also saw the different kinds of goals, and we also looked at SMART technique. We also looked at balance, and it requires setting appropriate and not equal amount of time and effort to the different areas of your life. And then we saw the 4-step process, right? Okay, so just to conclude, that's a quote by Tony Robbins. He said, setting goals is the first step to turning the invisible into the visible. So I'm hoping that by now you perhaps have an idea of what you want the upcoming school year to look like, or the next semester to look like. And if you don't already have that in mind, I'm hoping you would actually spend some time to reflect on it and formulate that picture in your mind. And I just believe so strongly that by applying all the things that we talk about here, you'll be boosting your chances of making the upcoming semester, the upcoming school year, one of your best semester or school year to come. And always remember that whatever it is you can think, whatever it is you can believe, whatever it is you can write down and work towards, you'll definitely be able to achieve, God willing. And whatever it is your mind can conceive and believe, you can achieve. And I know you guys are going to do great this upcoming school. Yeah, how many of you want to do that?